Alex Chalk was on the radio this morning defending Lee Anderson. I think there's going to be a lot of people trying to defend Lee Anderson or calling him a hero. I find it very difficult to get over that one.
You're being careful with your language this morning. The Conservative Deputy Chairman Lee Anderson has said to the Daily Express of these migrants, if they don't like barges, then they should F off back to France. Is that the Conservatives' policy?
Well, Lee is expressing in salty terms, I think, something that people well understand, which is that the British people have warm hearts, but we also want to have a secure front door. And it is not right that people who behave illegally, and incidentally, it has been illegal to arrive in this way for 50 years or so, to jump the queue compared to those who have played by the rules and done the right thing.
Should they F off back to France, as he suggests?
Well, as I say, Lee has expressed himself in his own way, but the central point that he's making, is not unreasonable.
Many people listening don't know you well. You've become Justice Secretary relatively recently, replacing Dominic Raab. Now, you said a few years ago that you believed that Britain was a, quote, tolerant, outward-facing nation.
Yeah.
And you denounced people using rhetoric you didn't like as an excuse for ugly bigotry I thought we'd left long behind. Do you think telling people to F off back to France, who might have genuine claims to be asylum seekers, who might have escaped war and persecution, do you think that is the reflection of a tolerant, outward-facing nation?
I think that, look, this is absolutely fine. I have no difficulty with that. It's not bigotry at all. This country, lest we forget, has offered its home to 400,000 people since 2015. So Ukrainians, people from Hong Kong, which I have in my own constituency in Cheltenham, Afghans, we are an open and warm and outward-facing country. But equally, we're a country that believes in fairness and playing by the rules. And those who don't play by the rules, who don't take advantage of those opportunities we provide and try to jump the queue, rightly cause indignation. And I think Lee was expressing that indignation in his own way, but there was nothing unreasonable in principle about what he was saying.
Justice Secretary Alex Chalk, thank you.
And the point is, Alex Chalk then says, we salute people who play by the rules. We're a country that plays by the rules. Well, we're just in the process of breaking our international commitment and breaking our commitment to the 1951 Refugee Convention. So that's not playing by the rules, number one. Number two, that we salute those people who come by the fair and proper means that we provided. Well, we haven't provided fair and proper means for a majority of people to come to this country if they want to. And I think it's worth listening to what Suella Braverman said to Tim Lawton on at the end of November, just before the Nationality and Borders Act came into play. Listen to this.
I'm a 16-year-old orphan from an East African country escaping a war zone and religious persecution. And I have a sibling legally in the United Kingdom at the moment. What is a safe and legal route for me to come to the United Kingdom?
Well, we have... you're fleeing which country, sorry?
Any African country.
Any African country. Well,
be any continent, but let's say any African country. I don't want to name one because then their Prime Minister might have a go at me for demonising their population. So let's just theoretically talk about an African country which is going through a period of turbulence and which is persecuting its citizens, including an innocent 16-year-old like me.
Well, we have an asylum system and people can put in applications for asylum.
How would I do that?
Well, you can do it through the safe and legal routes that we have. We have offered 390,000 places to people seeking safety from various countries around the world.
I'm not Syrian, I'm not Afghan, I'm not Ukrainian, not any of those specific schemes. The Dub scheme is historic. What scheme's open to me?
Well, if you are able to get to the UK, you are able to put in an application for asylum.
But I would only enter the UK illegally then, wouldn't I?
Well, that would, if you put in your application for asylum upon arrival, that would be the process that you enter.
How could I arrive in the UK if I didn't have permission to get onto an aircraft legally to arrive in the UK?
Let me just invite other colleagues if there's anything they want to add.
I mean, you could engage with UNHCR. I mean, depending which country you're from, you could engage with UNHCR, and that would be a way of getting leave to enter the UK in order to put in an asylum claim. But I accept that there are some countries where that would not be possible.
I think the point is that there's a shortage of safe and legal routes, other than for specific groups of people that we have generously offered safe haven.
I think it's really important that this exchange is fully documented and fully recognised for the importance it has. In this, either Suella Braverman is advising somebody to do something illegal, in which case she should frankly resign, because that's not the place of a minister, or she is saying that this action is not illegal. In fact, this action is the only option available. So 45,000 migrants crossing the English Channel last year were not illegal migrants. They weren't all illegal migrants, number one. Number two, they weren't all they weren't all failed asylum seekers. People crossing the English Channel, many people in the past few years, have actually been successful asylum seekers with very good cases. So they aren't fraudulent. The terminology which Suella Braverman is trying to impose is fake. And in this exchange, she's caught in a mess. She wriggles, she can't get out of this mess. Either she's telling somebody to do something illegal, or she's saying it's not illegal. It may be perfectly possible to define an illegal route. That doesn't make the person who is using that route illegal. And she makes it very clear that should the person claim asylum when they come to the UK, when they reach UK shores, should the person claim asylum there, they will not be illegal. Tim Lawton is quite right as well, that there aren't enough safe and legal routes to use for people who are claiming asylum. We have to bear in mind the 1951 Refugee Convention, of which we are still signatories. It's got nothing to do with the European Court of Human Rights. Though, of course, the European Court of Human Rights would uphold it, but the European Court of Human Rights was not set up specifically to police